Hello, my name is Brenda. My channel is Handwork Maniac. Welcome. I need to do an update. It's been several weeks. I have lots of pieces I worked on to show you my progress. I have several finishes, one new start. I had a last minute opportunity to go to a retreat. That was so fun in southern Utah, in St. George. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And I am planning on doing Mania in May, an activity that I'm planning on doing. If you want to see more about that, the video just before this talks about my Mania plans and what I'll be doing in May. And I think that's everything we're going to do today. Okay, let's start with finishes. This is Blooming Tiny Town by Heart in Hand. Here is my finish. It is on, I think it's on 32 count Swank by Fortnight Fabrics, with the called for DMs or overdyed cottons, except I did change this red to a brighter red, I believe, because mine was a very browny red. I do want to do all the tiny towns eventually. That one was so fun. It's got Lazy Daisy and buttons. It was fun. And then I was doing this Prairie Schooler Santa 2012 on 18 count linen Aida. I finished that one. It's the called for colors, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. Same thing on Blooming Tiny Town, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. And then I did this Santa, Prairie Schooler Santa, on 7 count cloth stern with DMC Pearl Cotton, number 3, I think, the bigger stuff, number 3. With the called for DMC colors, I just used pearl cotton instead of regular floss. And these two patterns are very similar in stitch count, but look at the difference. This one on 18 count linen Aida, this one on 7 count cloth stern, which is like an Aida. It's just great big squares. I just thought this one will be a pillow, a big pillow, like a couch pillow. This will be a tiny pillow, like for a tabletop display. But I thought it was fun to see the difference in size. I told you last time that I finished the March Snapshot, but I had it at work and so I didn't have it with me. So here it is in person. But now, of course, the April Snapshot by Pine Mountain Designs. I finished the April one and it is in my office. So I'll have Andrew put a picture of it in right here. And I also finished this Mill Hill Mighty Quartet Winter Oak. There are 4 oak trees in this series. I did mine on it does come with, it's not a buttons and beads kit, so it did come with fabric, 14 count Aida fabric, and I did it on perforated paper instead, because I wanted it to match all of my other buttons and beads that I am going to do on perforated paper. But it is also in my office. I forgot to bring it home, so I will have Andrew put a picture of that right here. And that was so fun to make. And then I also finished the RTO kit, roasted chicken and mashed potatoes. It came with Aida in the kit. I did not use the Aida. I used this 36 count even weave, antique white even weave. I I did use the kit floss, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. The colors in this one were so fun. Lots of French knots, lots of back stitch, but no partial stitches. They're all full cross. I just love that one. I think that's all the finishes. And I'll get to the new start as it comes up in the bin. It was from the retreat. All right, last September, I went to the Crazy Woman Stitch-In Retreat in Casper, Wyoming, next to the Crazy Woman River. And Jenny at Cricklewood Crossing did the retreat design for that retreat called This Crazy Life. It was exclusive at the retreat, but Jenny has now released it to the public, so if you're interested, you can buy that. I am using the called for colors, DMC colors. I did change the fabric and I changed the color of this brown flower, which I'll show you in a minute. Mine is on 40 count. Picture this plus pewter. And apparently it needed 1 million needle minders. I think 2. Okay, I'll tell you about the needle minders in a minute. I had the last minute opportunity to go to the Southern Utah Stitchers Retreat, put on by the same person, Misty Connelly, that put on this one in Casper, Wyoming. So I was working on this at the retreat and got 2 beautiful needle minders from people who came over and gave me one. Thank you. They're beautiful. But this is my progress on This Crazy Life. I did change the color of this medallion to be the same color as this flower down here. It is an over-dyed silk by Silken Colors called Honeyed Turquoise. And I'm doing it in like 4 or 5 or 6 wide vertical stripes, starting at the same place on the variegated thread at the bottom and moving up like this, so it's variegating at the same rate almost. This was a different part of the variegated thread, so it variegated differently. That was interesting. But I'll keep doing that all the way around in vertical stripes out this way. I think I might do the middle with that same thread, but go around in a spiral. Maybe I'll fussy cut the blues out of that variegated thread and just do the browns in the middle. Not sure. But that one is so fun to work on. I'm not far from the bottom right here. So those retreats are put on by Misty Connelly. I will put her Instagram handle in the description box below. Oh, that was 40 count pewter, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. This is Summer Schoolhouse by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. There are 4 patterns, 4 leaflets that give you the pattern to make these 5 designs. These 2 are in the same leaflet. I'm doing it with the called for fabric and the called for threads, all called for. And I will be doing it just like this have someone, either I'll make it into little pillows or have someone else make it into little pillows. But the called for fabric is 28 Mushroom Lugana, which is an even weave. And it is 1/1. 1 strand of floss over 1 fabric thread, so they're tiny stitches. And I am just about finished with the 4th design, so I just have 1 more to go. Here's number 1. Here's the 2 that came in number 2. And then here is pattern number 3. And then I just have one more to go. That one is just beautiful. It's looking so lovely. I also worked on Sweet Like Chocolate by Emma Congdon. And it was in the World of Cross Stitch magazine, May 2019. Looks like this. I'm using the called for DMC floss, but I'm doing it on 32 count even weave that's over dyed, and the color is Petals. It's got an ever so slight splashes of a very light lime green and a very light pink that you can barely see, but I thought it looked good with this pattern. 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. Lots of backstitch and partial stitches, but it is gorgeous. I finished this whole top section and started in on this milk section, milk chocolate. That one is really fun to work on. It just makes me want chocolate when I'm working on it. I think, oh, chocolate sounds good. This is the piece I started at the retreat. Jenny at Cricklewood Crossing also did the retreat piece for this retreat, the Southern Utah Stitchers Retreat in St. George. That was a week ago. Oh, today is Monday, April 24th, 2023. And she actually did 3 small charts for us, all with bunnies on them. I started this one right here, the one with the daffodil. It calls for stitching 1/1 on 25 count Stormy Night Lugana, but I'm stitching mine on Bestitch Me 46 count Aventurine. But I am using the called for DMC, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. It's a really pretty spring green fabric. And I just have a leaf and part of his ears. There, that's better. That's the color. So that was fun. Oh, and I bought a bag. Jenny at Cricklewood Crossing also makes project bags. She had this one for sale at the retreat, so I purchased this one from her to put this project in. So cute. And this smaller bag from her. And then we also got some goodies with the look at this beautiful metal egg. And it had this charm was inside that egg. I put it on my floss. Oh, and it had a needle inside as well. And look at this cute tag that was on this bunny bag. Look at this darling bunny bag. The floss was inside here for the piece. It is so cute. I'm thinking about stuffing the bag and then putting a little tiny cross stitch on the front of it. I just think it is the cutest little bag. My last update video, I told you that I had joined the Little Dove Designs Sewing Room Mystery Stitch Along. This was part 1, then we got part 2 right here, came out the 1st of April, and I have finished that section. It's a 6-month stitch along, I think. I believe that you could join the stitch along until April 1st, and now she has closed it. But at the end of the stitch along in August, she will release the whole pattern and you can purchase it. This is what I have so far. I finished this. This is April section right here. This is 46 count Be Stitch Me Frost with 1 strand of the called for DMC over 2 fabric threads. That one has been so fun. Oh, where is my picture of this? Ta-da! Okay, this is the big round zipper by Bent Creek. It comes in 6 kits. You have to purchase all 6 kits to make the whole thing. The called for fabric, I believe, is 18 count linen. It's like a big burlap looking type linen. And it is stitched with number 5 pearl cotton that comes in the kit. I am not using the fabric that comes with the kits, but I am using the pearl cotton. And I am stitching mine on 25 count even weave in the color Potato. And I can't remember which way is up. This way is up. Over 2 fabric threads. So it's 25 count even weave, number 5 pearl cotton over 2 fabric threads. So it's a big chunky thread. Not as chunky as the number 3 pearl cotton that I used on the 7 count Clostern, but it is bigger than just regular DMC floss. And number 5 pearl cotton full cross on 25 count does get a little thick, but I think it looks okay. It's gorgeous on the fabric that it came with, 18 count linen too. I'm about a little over halfway done. This is what I have so far. I'm loving it. I'm going to make this into a big round couch pillow as well. It has been a fun one to work on. I worked a little bit on Lettres Gigi B. She's done all the letters in the alphabet. I purchased B from her, from my name Brenda. And it is Gigi R is the name of her company. And I am using DMC 4515. It's an overdyed, it's DMC's variegated floss, sometimes called Paris. It's browns and blues. And it's on 46 count antique white linen, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. And I got a little bit more of the border done. I love the way that floss is looking. This is a kit by Lenarte called Four Seasons. It's a Marjolaine Bastien design. The kit came with Lugana evenweave fabric. And I can't remember if it's, might be 28 count. It's either 28 count or 32 count. I'm using the kit floss and the kit fabric, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. I started in the middle. There's a big bouquet of flowers right in the middle so that I could move out to whatever season we were currently in and work on that. So I've been working on spring. This is the spring section over here that I started on last year. And I worked on these flowers right here. Especially this purple hydrangea. So that was fun. This one is the Haberdashery Shop by Doreen Jones. You can buy it as a separate leaflet called the Haberdashery Shop, or it was also in the Cross Stitcher magazine. May of 2021. It will be in the description box below. I'm doing it on pre-gridded fabric because I wanted to try some pre-gridded fabric. This is 25 count. I'm using 1 strand of floss over 1 fabric thread, full cross. And I did a little more on it. Got a couple hundred more stitches in it, probably 500 or 600. Thoroughly enjoying this one. I love the colors in it. It does have a lot of backstitch. And I haven't done any of the backstitch yet. This is Spring Montage. It's a Jan Lin kit. It is also a full coverage design that you can get on Pain Free Crafts. Same artist, Jan Stever. I like the colors of the full coverage version better than I like the kit colors, so I changed the fabric that I'm stitching it on to be more like this. And I've changed just a couple of colors as I stitch to make it look more like that as well, but not very many. I dyed this fabric myself. It was 36 count light mocha, I believe is the color. And I dyed it with Rit Marigold dye to make this color that would look more like the full coverage color. And then I changed the color of these checkerboards to match this color of fabric better. Otherwise, it is the kit floss with the called for colors. And I was able to finish this section up right here and start down on the next section. That one is also fun to work on. I have all 4 seasons started. Jan Stever has all 4 seasons. I'm doing all the Jan Lin kits. So I just work whatever season we're in, that's the one that I work on. I also worked on Mirabilia Sleeping Princess. Mine is on 32 count Water Lily fabric with the called for floss, DMC, although it does have some beads and some Krynic sparkly. Two strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. I worked right here and got a lot of this done. You may remember that my daughter Catherine finished this section up here for me a year ago. She is, I don't have any beads on it yet, but she is just lovely. And so fun to work on now that we're down here in all the fun colors of the mattresses. I enjoy that part. I worked on Hoity Toity by Long Dog Samplers. I am using a silk conversion by Mrs. Seda Silks. I didn't use the pink that was in her conversion. I added some Gloriana reds, and I think one of them silken colors. And then I also added one brown and one green, but that is all in the description box below. And I've been working down here to try and finish up the border. But it is getting close. It is on 40 count mallow linen, 1 strand of silk over 2 fabric threads. The weekend that just ended yesterday was Jen Lee at Quirks and Stitches does 24 hours of cross stitch, and it was a 24 hours of cross stitch weekend. So I decided to try and get 24 hours in. I'm definitely team sleep. I do not stay up all night, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I tried to get 24 hours of work in on this Very Square by Carolyn Manning Designs. I have changed many of the colors. They're all DMC. And mine is on 46 count Frost by Bestitch Me. And I was able to get, I did not get 24 hours in. I think it was more like 14 to 18 hours. I filmed a video Saturday on Mania and then worked on kitting up Mania stuff. So there were some other things going on that kind of took some of my time, but I did get a lot done on it. I finished up this, did all of this underneath, all of this of the square and this. I was very happy. It is turning out so cute. I love it. I worked a little bit on the Zimmerman coverlet by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm using DMC 121, a variegated blue, on 56 count antique white linen, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. I love the way this floss is looking. DMC 121. It's beautiful. It's one of my W.I.P.s pieces called for this month. I have started the June Snapshot by Pine Mountain Designs. Mine is on Fabric by the Red Thicket in the color Sandstone. Let's see if we can get that. And it is 32 count, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads with the called for floss. Just working on the bouquet of flowers that's in the basket of the bicycle. But June is in a week, so I need to put some serious time in that this week. All right, that is all of the works in progress that I worked on, I think, since my last update. Now I'll just show you a couple of things that I purchased at the retreat. And some Stitchy kindness. We got this cute little bag. That was the logo for the retreat. It came with these beautiful floss drops. And batteries and this cool magnifying lamp. That was awesome. And then a wonderful stitcher gave us all some beads. One of the retreat attendees, she was fabulous. I purchased some fabric while I was there. They had several vendors there in the room with us. One of them was Live and Dye LA. She's from California, a fabric dyer. So this one is 28 count Cardiff. It's a beautiful bluey purple. And some French vanilla in 32 count. And the Child in 28 count, beautiful green. Forbidden Fiber Company was also there, and I bought two pieces of Frozen, one in 46 count and one in 32 count, because it was such a beautiful color. It's kind of a gray, very light purple, neutral, beautiful. Red Thicket was also there. This one is As You Wish, 40 count Verdal in a beautiful light green. From the Heart, Needle Art by Wendy, From the Heart Needle Art. She was there, so I purchased several. She gave me a free pattern, gave us all a free pattern because she was at our table. But I also purchased several patterns from her. This is Grandma's Quilt Block. I think that leaf design is so pretty. And Fall. She also had, her models, oh, there as well. They're so pretty. She has done several, she has some antique samplers, and instead of reproducing the whole sampler, she's done little parts from the sampler. So it's like a smaller piece you can stitch where she's taken pieces of the sampler. This one is called Little Rose Garden, and she's calling them the Little Sampler series. She said she thinks this is her, I think this is the one she told me that's her favorite border ever. This one, I just love that butterfly. It is also a section of an antique sampler that she has. It's called Susan's Little Sampler. And then this one is a sampler made by Catherine, part of it, a little piece of it, called Catherine's Little Sampler. Look at that house. So I thought that was a cool way to stitch part of a reproduction sampler without having to stitch the whole thing. Cricklewood Crossing. This is one of her new releases. I purchased this one. Love Grows. Look at those tomatoes. That was so cute. This was some Stitchy kindness. I purchased this beautiful Mickey Mouse bag from Jordan Orlandi. She is Jordy's handmade. She makes beautiful bags. Ray, my friend Ray gave me these cute scissors. One of the retreat attendees gave us all this felt with the safety pins to put in your dryer. Oh, this one's stuck. Salt and Pepper Stitching gave us this beautiful charm. This is some beautiful floss that I bought from Forbidden Fiber Company. Beautiful greens. One of the retreat attendees gave us this little crocheted strawberries. Aren't they darling? And this was also given to me. Beautiful pin cushion in this cute little teacup with handmade pins. I purchased this floss drop and floss tags from Cricklewood Crossing. Look at the beautiful birdhouse. And this needle minder has this lovely lady with the big hat and the flowers, flower basket. Oh, and another chart I bought. Actually, this might have been the free one that she gave us because she was sitting at our table. I have admired this one from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. But I just think that Home Sweet Home Quakers is so cute. My friends Glenda and Shauna made us these darling carrots with chenille that they dyed. It's antique chenille bedspread that they cut up and dyed to be orange. And I think this is bias tape that they scrunched up and dyed to be the top and made us some pins. Isn't that darling? I was given this needle minder with Chocolate Bunny. And this beautiful needle minder. And this beautiful needle threader. It's got a blue stone on the end. And I think that is everything. I will come back mid-May and do a Mania update, maybe like halfway through and then again at the end. And I'll be go back and watch my Mania video. I'll be doing something different every day. I'm excited about that. It's getting a little warmer, but then we had a huge hailstorm today, so It kind of looked like snow, but it wasn't really snow. It was just rain and hail. So it's okay. Spring is coming. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.